Hey yo, what is up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another road trip day, but today we are road tripping this thing. But it's late. I'm gonna pack everything onto the back of it somehow. Yeah. And we will get on the road and talk about what we're doing, why we're doing it, and everything in between. So let me just back up and we will start a bit of a discussion. And voila, all packed up, but unfortunately we don't have much time to admire my handiwork here. I hope everything sits in place, but we gotta go because I'm running quite a bit late. What's the time? Oh shit, almost 10 o'clock. Should have been at work by this hour. So first part of the day, it's currently 10 o'clock in the morning. I have to go 2 or 3 hours, 4 hours, a little bit into work. And then we are going to hit the highway to Rushnov, about 170 kilometers to the destination. It's gonna be an interesting trip. We're gonna do just about every style of road, asphalt road at least, on the way there. I'm not going to be doing any off-roading or any testing of back road compatibility of the SYM with the Romanian countryside on the way there, because I want to get there and test ride quite a few motorcycles, because there is a test ride session. And yeah, I want to get there and test ride because it's only today. So if we leave by 1 o'clock or something like that, that's how I plan to leave. We're gonna get there at about 3 or 4, so I only have about 2 or 3 hours to maybe 4 hours to test out a couple of motorcycles. So we're gonna be in a bit of a hurry. We're gonna see how the ADX 125 copes with being in a hurry. We're gonna have a bit of mountain road to the end, but tomorrow on the way back is gonna be, let's say, the interesting part of the trip in what the ADX 125 is concerned, because tomorrow when I come back I'm no longer in a hurry, and I plan on taking a certain route that I took a couple of months ago with a certain BMW that kind of fell in the mud. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out this video right up here. So yeah, I'm gonna get into work and catch up with you guys after I'm done working, and we can hit the road for some new and crazy and wild adventures with the SYM ADX 125. That's it. We're hitting the road. Goodbye, Donnie. Have a nice, pleasant weekend relaxing. But the ADX has some work to do. It's currently 1 o'clock. It's a bit later than I would have liked to set off. We have, how much? 168 kilometers to go. GPS says about 2.5 hours. But let's quickly get out of the city and get on the highway, and I'll catch up with you guys on the highway, because city traffic is a bit appalling in the weekends. And that's it. We're out of the city. We're on the highway. What a beautiful day for riding. The weather should be about 30 degrees, and for all the naysayers, I got myself riding gear, okay? I've got myself riding gear, riding boots. I am wearing proper gear. I still have blue jeans on. I know it's warm enough, but I have a riding jacket, gloves, and riding boots. I do have riding pants, but it's a little bit too hot for them today. Now, first impressions of the ADX on the highway. It's geared taller than other 125s. As you can see, we're holding 102 kilometers an hour at just 7,000 RPM. Now, it doesn't have much power, much extra power to go much faster, but at least when you're cruising at 100, you're at 7,000 RPM, so the engine should be quite economical. We've already done 50 kilometers on this tank and it's still showing full. That goes to show what 15 liters of fuel goes. But yeah, it's actually quite pleasant on the highway, and the tall handlebars are good. They're nice and easy to control the scooter. The 13-inch wheels are okay at this speed. They're not wobbly or anything. I mean, I can take my hands off the handlebar, it's perfectly straight. The huge tank right here between my legs really stiffens up the frame of the scooter. And in terms of wind protection, well, I don't have a windscreen, so yeah, there is wind. My legs are a little bit exposed to the wind, but it's okay. It's okay. It's not bad. And no, the fact that you can hold speeds like 107, 106 at below 8,000 RPM, it's starting to make me think real hard about something like switching from my Symphony ST to this thing. If only I could get the 15 horsepower 150cc engine that it's sold in Asia. Those extra 3 horsepower would be so awesome on a scooter like this. But for now, it's running right. It's really comfortable. I have plenty of leg room. I have all my luggage with me, and we're heading up into the mountains. I'm gonna catch up with you guys a little bit higher up into the mountains. But as a first test for highway riding, excellent highway cruiser if you're okay with between 90 and 110 kilometers an hour cruising speed. First small break of the day. After about 100 kilometers on the road, I decided to take a bit of a breather. The experience is interesting at the moment, so let's go through it first. First of all, on the highway, the variator is a little bit oversized. It's clearly made for a 150cc engine, a lot more powerful, but that means it can cruise at about 7,000 RPM at 100 kilometers an hour, which is nice. The seat is comfy. The problem is I have it packed full of my tent and a chair and everything, and this was pushing against my back. I moved it back as much as it will go. I was a little bit scared as I was riding to move it around because I kept having sensation it's falling off, but yeah, hopefully it's gonna be a little bit better. Now we're off the highway and we are going to head yonder into the mountains. Every time I come up to the mountains, I love this bit of road, this stretch of road, because it's straight, it's 2-lane, but you can see the mountains up ahead and you can start feeling the cool air coming off the mountains, coming from Bucharest, which is in the plains, and it's in the summer it's really hot, and you start riding and it's still hot, and then you get up here, you start getting close to the mountains and it starts getting cooler and cooler and cooler, and you feel the mountain air on your hands, on your feet. And now we are getting into a bit of light twisties. We will have some proper twisties where I can really test out the handling of this little thing. It should be actually pretty good because as far as I know, it's based, at least the frame is based on the DRGBT, which is a fantastic handling little machine. So this should be quite good in the twisties. It feels agile. It feels really agile, really positive. The brakes feel good. Oh yeah, and now that I've moved my luggage back, I can actually have a comfortable riding position. I can say, yeah, this thing is comfortable for the long haul. Oh, I could do an iron button on this thing without any kind of issue. Sure, it doesn't have much power to go over 100 kilometers an hour, but at least as we're riding steadily with 90-95 kilometers an hour, the engine isn't revving as high as it is on my Symphony ST. On my Symphony ST at this speed we would be turning over at about 8,000, 8,500 RPM. This one is 68, 69, 7,000 RPM, depends if I'm on the throttle or off the throttle. That's about 1,500 RPM lower, which should help with engine longevity, with fuel consumption. It should help with a lot. I bet the 150cc version of this thing is absolutely awesome if it has the same transmission. Otherwise, if you could get some kind of cylinder upgrade kit for it to give it a little bit more horsepower, that would also be fantastic. But all in all, up to this point, it's impressive. And if you're looking at it and saying it's expensive, yeah, if you want just a little city scooter, go for something like a Jet 14 or a Jet X or a Symphony ST.
those are perfectly capable of being just city scooters. This thing, on the other hand, I'm getting the feeling this thing was made for more than just city riding. You know, I've always loved this part of the journey coming up here, especially when I'm on a small little scooter. This place is always packed full of cars because it's the closest mountain resort to Bucharest, and Bucharest is the capital, and a lot of people come to see the mountains here. And the road is narrow, there's no highway leading up to the mountain, so that's kind of it. And basically people spend the next 30 kilometers like this. And they're all mad and frustrated, and it's always on the news. Why aren't you all riding something like a little ADX 125? Or just about any motorcycle or any two-wheel vehicle? The weather is absolutely gorgeous outside. Now for cars, these 30 kilometers is basically a 2-hour ordeal, and for a motorcycle it's about 15 minutes. So I'll get to the resorts about an hour and a half earlier, and by the time they get there I'll be about 3 beers deep into my hangover. You know, for rocking some not so premium tires and off-road oriented at that, the Kendas on this ADX are really nice on the twisties. On the highway they weren't buzzy at all. Well, I think they should be pretty decent off-road, and they are a little bit knobby. But here in the twisties, they're giving me a positive feel, they're giving me grip. It's nothing frightening. The scooter isn't moving around on the knobs. I can chuck it into a bend. It's actually pretty positive. I'm surprised. I was a little bit worried with Kenda tires that were gonna be like, kind of iffy. But no, they're good. They're good for the twisties. We are going to test them off-road also, but at least for the twisties, if you plan on riding this mainly on tarmac, yeah, you don't need to change the tires. I don't know how they are on the wet, so don't quote me on that one. But here in the dry, I have nothing to complain. And the turn off for the secondary road that we're about to take to get to the venue is 300 meters to the left. Actually 200 meters ahead, and we're gonna turn a left. I do have another bike behind me, and we're probably gonna start seeing a lot more bikes, because as we get into the general area where the event is going, it's an event of test rides and everything, so we are gonna see a lot of motorcycles. Why are so many people turning left? Anyway, this first part we basically have to get over this bit of mountain, and this first part is gonna be a little bit uphill, but then we're going downhill, and we can see how the little ADX handles on the twisties. Uphill, I know it's gonna struggle. It's just a 125cc, it's just 12 horsepower. The scooter is 150 kilograms heavy. It's not a light scooter by any means for its size. Where the weight actually helps is in its stability. It's actually very stable, a lot more stable than my Symphony ST. It feels a lot more confidence inspiring, especially in the bends or when you hit bumps. You can feel the suspension works differently. You know, it's gotten probably cool outside, and I absolutely love it. No more sweating, no more heat strokes. No, it's absolutely gorgeous outside. All of this is mesh on my jacket, and I have a mesh chest piece, so I'm very well ventilated. It's about 20-25 degrees outside. I don't know, unfortunately the ADX does not have a outside thermometer on the dashboard. I'm guesstimating about 20 to 25 degrees, somewhere in the ballpark. Oh, nice little bikes. I think that was a press bike, and I think we have behind me the brand new Transalp. Yep, as a press bike. Hunker down and do the last 12 kilometers as fast as possible, because I really want to ride that Transalp and see what else is on offer as a test ride. These are some beautiful roads to do test rides, and I really want to see what's what. And now we're on the downhill. Only 9 kilometers to the venue, and I know this bit of road and it's all downhill. Unfortunately, I don't think we're gonna be able to do an overtake, and cars are pretty slow, so we're not gonna properly explore the prowess, the handling prowess of the ADX, at least not in this current situation. But what I can tell you, the front brake is quite positive, and combined with the rear brake, which is surprisingly strong. I know scooters have strong rear brakes, but this one is surprisingly strong. I think it's because of all the extra weight on the back. It's actually quite enjoyable, and it's quite nice in the twisties. The dynamics of the thing are really, really nice. That's what I don't like about cars. They go at 30 kilometers an hour in the corners, and as soon as you want to overtake in the straight line, they accelerate. Like, come on. I'm faster than you are in the corners. Just let me pass. Look, see? Hard on the brakes. Oh, they're good brakes. They're good brakes. Good lever feel, both front and rear. And here I would have liked a little bit more oomph on the little ADX, but I think we can get the overtake in. Yes, we did. We're gonna be hard on the brakes once again, because after this corner we have a tight left-hander, if I remember correctly. Yes, a tight left-hander, hard on the brakes. Chuck it in. Oh, come on. I thought BMWs were supposed to be like fast, sporty machine. Move your ass. Ruined my line through that corner completely. And if you catch this guy on the highway, he's gonna be probably driving 200 kilometers an hour, flashing his brights to get out of his way. But here in the corners, oh no, we're slow, we're barely moving our asses. The problem is this little 125, I don't have the oomph in the straight to get past him, because they're also accelerating, so they're taking corners at 20-30 kilometers an hour, and in the straights they're accelerating. Now hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes. Get it in. Come on, little Renault. Oh. And now he's also accelerating, but I think we can get the overtake in. Dip it into the bend. Chuck it in. Front end feels positive. Get on the power early. Really nice. Now we can explore this thing. How does it handle? Hard on the brakes. Hard ABS on the rear. Get it in. Trail brake. A little bit of trail braking. Get it out. Awesome. Yep, the tires, when you start to push them to the maximum, you can start feeling that they are knobby tires, but they're good. I would have liked some Michelin City grips on it, or maybe something from Pirelli, but for the moment they are really good. And hard on the brakes, hard wiggling. The rear end is wiggling a little bit. Get it in, trail brake it in. Punch it out. The chassis can do with a little bit more power. And I'm not saying that I would like it to be faster. I'm saying the chassis can cope with more power. They can put something like a 250 or 200, something with about 20 to 25 horsepower in this thing, no problem. The chassis can take it. It's not jiggling about. It's very positive on turn-in. I really enjoy it. Compared to my ST, the ST, you have to know its quirks to get it fast through the corners. This thing is just really confidence inspiring. Like here, left to right, to left to right again, a bit dab of brake, chuck it into the bend. You dip it into the corner, it stays right, straight and true as you dipped it into the corner. It's hard to explain. It's like we put it in, give it its line, and it just takes the corner by itself. Yep, it's a good chassis. I don't know how it handles the off-road, but at least the twisties, it handles them really good. So much so that I would be asking for a little bit more tire and a little bit more power. Brakes, maybe if we give it more power, I don't know, maybe a little bit beefier front brake, but still the scooter only has 200 kilometers on the clock. The front brakes and the rear brakes are not bedded in correctly yet, so I don't know, it should be tested. I think it could be fine with its current brake setup. If it had like 20-25 horsepower, it should be fine enough. The transitions, they're so nice. Scooters always have really nice transitions because the weight is so low. The transitions from left to right are always so easy to do, and I don't know, they're so satisfying to do because you can do them so easily. Only 2 kilometers out from the venue. It took us about 2 hours and 40 minutes for almost 200 kilometers. That's not bad. That's decent speed. What else do we have here? Let's see, what is this bike? Oh, that was an S1000RR. I know they have that's probably the test bike, the press bike. I'm still wondering if I should give it a try. I've never been on a leader bike, and that ain't a beginner leader bike, that's for sure. I don't know, I could try it and just ride it like normally, not going crazy. Maybe just a couple of squirts of power. Hard to find my words sometimes. That's because I'm so smart. It's hard to say sentences sometimes. I am ready for a drink of water and a bit of a break. What are we at? 200 kilometers. We did a 5-minute pit stop at the middle of the journey. Yeah, that's about right. My ass isn't hurting, my feet aren't hurting. That's just about right in terms of comfort. And yep, here we are. Here we are at Rishnov. Hey, everybody's here. I think we have to pay entrance.
Alright, got our tickets. Let's go set up our tent. Oh, a bit of gravel road. First contact with gravel? No, it's not bad. It's not bad. Let's find a camping spot. You know what? I don't want to be too far back. So let's see if we can find a spot right here. I think here oh, right over there, that should do nicely. Let's see if I can maneuver it, being so small and light, if I can properly maneuver it into a parking spot. I think we're gonna put the tent right here. Let's not get over the person's pole, and right here should be just fine for the machine. Now let's see, is it gonna sit? Yep, it's gonna sit. And in a couple of seconds we will have the tent right up. So this is the setup that I managed to bring here on the little ADX. My tent, my sleeping bag, my mattress, my pillow, all my luggage, my chair, everything that you could possibly want. And now we're gonna go and do some test rides. Well, the test riding part is over. I managed to test ride 2 bikes, the Rebel 500 and the Transal, both from Honda. That's all I had time for. But we're soon gonna have a concert right over there. There's some good food over there. There's some good beer, business beers I should say. And I'm just enjoying the sunset in a field full of tents and motorcycles. Isn't this just awesome? And also the little ADX is right here next to my tent, getting some machinist shut-eye because tomorrow I'm gonna put in free spaces, and SYM have better made a cracking scooter because tomorrow we're gonna find out just how good that thing is. Now normally I wouldn't test a city scooter doing what I'm about to do with him tomorrow, but since even in their promotional material they showed somebody riding this thing off-road really hard, it's only fitting I test it. If those are their claims, we're gonna put them to the test. So, little ADX, have a drink, and we'll see what you're made of tomorrow. Good morning, everyone. As you can see, the little ADX is all packed up. Let's start them up and get some temperature in the engine. Everybody's packing up. I gotta go find some breakfast first and a bathroom. Now, I'm not gonna show my face just yet because we still have to wear off all the business beers from last night, but yeah, it was safe to say it was a pretty fun event and worth coming. I also met a couple of subscribers here, amazingly. And yeah, let's hit the road. Come on, little ADX. Close this. And don't forget anything, everything's all packed up. Yeah, the subscribers I met came with that absolutely gorgeous 1800 VDX. I would have loved to take a ride on that one. Also, VN 800, nice. But let's get ourselves out on the road. Ah, boy. We're gonna take it easy until the engine warms up. Everybody is packing up. No more test rides today, so I can't do anything except test ride this thing. And test ride this thing we shall. Out on the open road. Once again on the open road, taking it easy to warm up the engine, to dry off the morning dew. You know, it's always worthwhile coming to events like this. Ooh, horsey! Nice. It's always worthwhile coming to events like this because you have test rides, you have motorcycle camping, you have good food, good drinks, concerts. The concert was absolutely awesome last night. And even though I didn't get to catch the entire event, I arrived Saturday or yesterday, which was Saturday, at about 4 o'clock, something like that, and the event started on Friday. So basically, I caught the last couple of hours of the test rides, like 2 hours of test rides, and then concert. But still, that was good enough. It's still worthwhile because it's not a long road trip from Bucharest to here, and also I get to ride this little thing. So yeah, the fun is not over. We still have about 200 kilometers to get home, or actually a little bit more because we're going the long way around. And we are gonna test out a bit of its capabilities, off-road and touring. I've packed my luggage a little bit better this time. Every time you pack and unpack your bike, you pack it just that tiny little bit better. And now, yeah, I packed it a little bit better. I don't want to go on the highway.
No, we're gonna go like through here. That's the city highway or something like that. I don't want to go on the highway. We're gonna go on the main road. This little thing has had enough highway riding for now, and I want to keep it on normal roads. So now the main task for this morning, and it's currently 9 o'clock in the morning, is to find something to eat, because all of the food trucks and everything were closed this morning except for coffee, and I do not drink coffee. But I'm gonna try to find somewhere to eat a little bit further away from the venue, because all the local spots here next to the venue are all full of motorcycle people from the venue. Like, check it out, full of bikes. Probably the next 3 gas stations will be all full of bikes. Now we're doing it proper. Little ADX over there, and breakfast is served. So I got myself a bacon and egg sandwich and a croissant to go with my energy drink, because like I keep saying, I do not drink coffee. But yeah, it's about 9:30 in the morning, and just going to enjoy a little bit of breakfast, and then we are gonna put the ADX through its paces. It's the same road I took with Brutus for around Easter time. The same muddy road where I dropped the bike. Hopefully I don't drop this one, because this one is mine. But yeah, I'm gonna eat something, and then we'll get back on the road, because the day is long, but it quickly gets away from you if you sit around for too long. Well, this is much better. Fed and ready to hit the road. We got about 20 kilometers to go till we get to the interesting bit of road, and then we're gonna have about 30 kilometers of pure off-road forest roads, and not just like gravel. Hopefully I don't see too much mud, but we're currently equipped with better tires to handle mud than I was when I passed through here with my BMW. Just as a word of advice for everybody traveling and doing long distance trips and multi-day trips, before you start off the day, don't be in a hurry, and I would recommend grabbing a spot of breakfast, but not too heavy, okay? So breakfast should be pretty light, because if you start off the day with a belly that's completely full, then you might have a bad time. I like to start it off with a light breakfast, and if I'm hungry in the afternoon, again a very light lunch, and then eat properly when I've stopped for the day. Belly full makes you, I don't know, very slow with your controls. It makes you feel cumbersome, and on the road that's not a good thing. Well, little ADX, say goodbye to the main road and get ready for your first little adventure. We're supposed to make a right here, and one of the roads goes through that valley. There's another road that goes through another valley, but we are heading straight up into the mountains. Now don't be fooled, it's tarmac now. It won't be for a long time. Now it feels like this little thing is on an adventure. Empty road, local small houses, up in the mountains. I can see where we're heading. The road is no longer a main road. Whoa, whoa, bumps. Slow it down, slow it down, slow it down. At the moment it's handling the bumps decently, but we'll see when we get on the gravel. We'll see how good the tires are, we'll see how good the suspension is. Now, I'm not expecting wonders from the suspension. Come on, it's still a scooter after all. Don't be fooled. It's even Honda's ADV 350 was, although it has some pretty wacky and pretty gnarly Showa suspension, it's still not adventure bike soft or compliant. And goodbye tarmac for the next, I think, about 30 kilometers. Is my luggage on safely? Yep, it's on safely. Alright. First stretch is a bit of gravel road, which should be able, which the ADX should be able to handle just fine. And it is. It's actually quite a lot more comfortable than my ST is. Somehow you feel the bumps, but the dampening is a lot better. The dampening is way more better than on my ST. Now granted, my ST does have about 36,000 kilometers, but even when it was new, let me just open this up. Even when it was new, it didn't have this good of damping. We still don't have suspension travel, but we do have dampening, which helps me hold better speeds through stuff like this. Like we're going uphill, it's gravelly, we have some water, and I do like to maintain a little bit of momentum. Come on, little ADX. Let me just change my map, because we're about to go off the main road or the beaten path, and Google Maps will have no idea where we are. We should have it here. Where are we? Yep. Maps.me is the application I'm using, in case you're wondering, and it says we're on the right track. Whoa, slippery. It's pretty nice with knobby tires. I think my luggage is falling off the back. Let me check. Oh yeah. Yeah, my luggage is falling off the back. Okay, I'm gonna tie this up better. Okay, everything should be fine now. I've added an extra strap to keep it from rolling backwards. I might feel it on my back, but should be fine. Let's get back on the road. Now we're gonna turn the start-stop feature off, because I don't want the engine cutting out if I stop to look at something, or we're off-roading now, we're not conserving fuel. So we got about 30 kilometers to go of this. Might take us about an hour and a half, 2 hours. I don't know exactly how long, but we're gonna do it. We'll see how the ADX comes out the other side. Hopefully intact, or else I am probably gonna have to buy an ADX, specifically this one, if I ruin it. But nah, we're not gonna ruin it. You know what we're gonna do? We are going to turn off traction control, because again, I don't need traction control when I'm off-roading. Bumpity bum. These whoop-de-doos really show a bit of lack of ground clearance. But then again, the beautiful part with the scooter is the oil sump isn't directly below. So if you scrape, you're scraping just a bit of plastic, so it's not really all that dramatic. With modern motorcycles that have like a frame with the engine being a stress member, the first thing touching the ground is your oil sump. And that's a big no-no when you're off-roading. Currently this light work, the ADX is handling it just fine, and it's quite enjoyable. Again, I'm not maintaining the same speeds I was with Brutus through here, but yeah, I'm comparing apples to oranges. This is a little city scooter with some off-road tires and a big fuel tank, and the other one is an 1100 GS big adventure bike globetrotter machine. So I really should stop comparing this little ADX to the GS, considering the current GS costs about as much as 6 of these for the base model. If you go for some options, you could probably buy 7 of these. It's gonna be even more interesting once we get up in the mountains.
Now we're currently just in a bit of a valley, and then we're gonna start climbing all the way up there. And we're gonna follow this, basically we're gonna follow this power line. This is a road, I think, used by the people maintaining these high voltage power lines. It's good. You kind of need a proper off-road vehicle to pass through it if you're coming on it with a car. But I've done crazier stuff with scooters. This should be just fine. Considering I've done gnarlier stuff with my ST, and that one is not supposed to be off-road ready, this one is. And it's made by the same manufacturer. I doubt that they gave the ST more off-road capabilities than they gave this one. It's currently 11 o'clock, 11:30. The weather is warming up, so I'm nice and comfortable. Actually, a little bit too warm. When I stop, I do sweat a little bit, but when I'm riding, even at these speeds, like 30 kilometers an hour, it's good. And the little ADX is holding on. I am getting that same feeling I did with the Honda 350 ADV. Like, it's not really 100% made for this, but then again, it's also doing it without giving you the sensation that you're hurting it. And that's real nice, because if, like me, you have a bit of mechanical sympathy, once you start feeling like you're hurting it, it starts to get unpleasant. You no longer enjoy the ride. You start thinking, what if I break it? What if I break down here? What am I gonna do? This thing, it's taking the bumps. The dampening is very good. And oh, riders, they probably came from Valladolid. We are going to Valladolid. So yeah, like I said, the dampening is very good, and it doesn't feel like you're hurting the scooter, especially the rear suspension. That trick spring and shock on a one-sided or a single-sided swing arm, it's really doing its job a lot better than the dual shocks on my ST. Even though we have 13-inch wheels, remember this. People say the ADX isn't good off-road because it only has 13-inch wheels. Yeah, that is true if you go on like some extreme trail, but here it's coping just fine. I could go even a lot faster on this bit of road, but again, it's not my scooter. This is a test vehicle, a press bike, and it's the only one in the country at the moment. So I really don't want to break it, because truth of the matter is, the scooter came in, so the unit came in, but parts haven't. So if I break it, it's out of commission for a couple of weeks until parts come in, and there are a lot of people waiting to test ride it, and I don't want to ruin it for them. So we are going to take it nice and easy, because I'm pretty sure it's going to make it all the way without any kind of problems or any kind of issues if we're just a little bit careful with it. Needless to say, I really don't want to drop it. So if I'm gonna see mud, and I'm starting to see a bit of water and a bit of slippery mud on the road, we're gonna slow right down and take it nice and gentle, because I don't want to drop it. These tires are working a treat though. They're really giving me grip and confidence. I've had a few sections with a little bit of mud. They felt like they wanted to slip a little bit, but then again didn't. So I'm really happy with them. I haven't aired them down or anything. They're still at their normal pressure, or at least what I set, which is 2 bar up front and 2.4 on the back. Could go a little bit lower, but yeah, I'm lazy. We're gonna do it as is. Which way? This way. Up the river we go. The part where the road becomes a river. And as we can see, a bit of mud. Much more grip than I had on my GS with the Pirelli Scorpios. These Kendas really have, well, actually it's knobby tires. If you have knobby tires, then you have grip. So the knobs really bite into the mud and give you a little bit of grip. And they do have on the sidewalls those little diamond cuts, which really help when the road is like at an angle. It really gives you grip and stability. But now we're climbing up into the mountain. The climb is starting. Whoa, 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 whoa. Mud, come on. Nice. That was a sketchy moment. And the front end wanted to wash out, but didn't. I could feel like slipping, and then the knobs just biting in and holding me in line. Decent tires. You can get even more off-road extreme tires, but for what it is, they're good enough. Oh, the road is a little bit almost gone. Come on, easy, 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 easy. Come on. Up's the daisy. Up we go, up we go, up we go. Oh. I think we should have gone on that road. Alright, let's switch it around. Again, nice part about having such a small, light little scooter. It's so bloody easy. Oh, come on. Get back here. It's so bloody easy to turn around. Alright, we're back at the fork. And let's try this road. Because that one was a bit of a dead end. Up the hill. Come on, little one. Yeah, no, I remember this part. Yeah, I came down with the BMW here. We are gonna take it nice and easy. Come on, little tires. Woohoo! It's doing it. Let me choose my line. There we go. It is actually bloody doing it. The thing is, again, with a variator I can choose my line and go up really, really slowly. I don't need any finesse or super advanced clutch control. The advantage is always the ease of clutch control with a scooter, especially going uphill, going downhill. The ease of operation, the ease of clutch control. And with some proper off-road tires, I really don't feel like it's going to slip or slide. It's actually pretty awesome. The wide handlebars is really nice for control. It's a little bit wider than my ST, and I think it's a little bit wider than any other scooter from SYM. Up in the mud. Playing in the mud. Okay, now this is an interesting one. Which way do I go? We're gonna... I think it's this way, yeah. It should be this way. Up. Come on. Really nice grip from the tires. I really hope I chose the right one, because I really don't want to come back down here. Just maintain momentum, and we're climbing. Feet on the side, catch it just in case. We're gonna have to switch sides now. Okay, nice and easy. Now, compared to my GS, which was a complete and utter workout with 300 kilograms of weight, this is a peach. Okay, so this is a little bit of mud. It's okay, we're not gonna scrape, we're not gonna bottom out. And okay, let's go. Come on. Come on. It's doing it. It's bloody well doing it. Oh boy. Okay, let me choose a line so I don't bottom out. This way. We're gonna go through the mud. Hop, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, boy. Continuing up the hill. If I remember correctly, the downhill should be a little bit lighter, but who knows? These roads change with the weather. You never know what you're gonna get. Weight on the back and everything, and it's doing it. Look at us doing 25 kilometers an hour up the hill. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Now we're gonna see how well the side walls grip. Come on, give me power. Come on, slipping and sliding. But they grip. The can does grip. The can does grip. We're definitely putting it through its paces. I don't know when SYM made that promotional video with the guy riding it in the desert. I don't think they thought anybody would actually test that out. But I guess they still don't have any idea I exist. SYM, if you're watching this, try to reach out, and I mean SYM corporate, not the dealership where I work at. Because although you might not have intended for people to actually verify your claims of the ADX's off-road capabilities, I'm verifying them. And I'm not verifying them just to try to nitpick on the scooter or to find flaws or anything. I'm verifying it because if this were my personal scooter, this is exactly what I would be doing it with it. No questions about it. This is exactly what I would do with it. Now this is gonna be an interesting one. No, I'm not stopping here. Whoa, easy now. I'm gonna try to go on that side. Come on, nice and easy. I'm not giving you full throttle. Come on. It's slipping a little bit. It's slipping, but we're doing it. I would not have been able to ride up that with my BMW. I don't think I would have been able. But this thing is doing it. Come on, let's give it some stick so we can cool the clutch off and make up some time because we were pretty slow back there. But that was probably the gnarliest part of the road, and we did it uphill, so we had gravity against us, but we did it. So that's a big thumbs up from me. We'll see on the downhill how extreme it is. When I came up with the BMW, it was actually pretty easy to come up, and I don't think I would have been able to come up that bit of road in the BMW, because remember, I came in the opposite direction, so when I was here I was going downhill. Now it's the other way around, we're going uphill. What a nice little bit of road. A couple of months ago on the news they said they wanted to turn this road into a normal asphalt road, and I don't know, like the mayor or something like this around here said that it's, oh yeah, sure, we're just gonna level it out a little bit and put a bit of tarmac on it. No big deal, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Really? Really? You see cars coming down here like normal passenger cars, sedans and estates and stuff like that? Sorry, this is the road made for pretty decent off-road vehicles, plus enduro bikes, plus ATVs side by side. This isn't for a car. This isn't made for a car. Oh yeah, and little 125cc scooters. It always boggles the mind what what you can achieve with just a little 125cc scooter. I've done a lot with mine, and I'm doing things now with this one, and I'm still a bit amazed at people spending a ton of money on enduro bikes and stuff like that, and yet here I am on a little city scooter, not only doing it, but doing it well. That's the thing. It's not gonna come out the other side in pieces. It's going to come out the other side requiring just a wash, and that's the amazing, interesting part. I'm not hurting it, I'm not breaking it, I'm not going over its limits. It's still in the range of its capabilities. Here we are climbing on mud, slippery mud, and it's climbing. We got a lot of weight on the rear wheel, we got off-road tires, we got knobby tires. They're biting into the mud and propelling us forward. I just have to be mindful of the rocks, but then again, with such a light machine, it's so easy to avoid the rocks. It's easy to switch it from one side to the other, and just look at that beauty. And we're almost at the top. Okay, that was quick. A lot quicker than I was expecting. Upsy daisy, upsy daisy. Oh, bumps. Come on. Oh, that was a big one. But again, even the big bumps, the front suspension hit the bump stops, but very, very lightly. So, I haven't checked how much travel we have in the front and in the rear, but I'm expecting it to be like 5 or 6 or 7 centimeters. But also, even though these are 13-inch wheels, the tires are really fat. So I'm guessing the tires are soaking up a lot of the bumps and a lot of the impacts, which is a good thing. This means the rims are protected. Having a fat tire, you're not gonna bend or break a rim. Easy on the bumps. When I get to the top, we're gonna take a little bit of breather and inspect the scooter and see if we've damaged anything. I only heard like 1 or 2 rocks scrape the underbelly, but that should be nothing. Boy, is it ever beautiful up here. You know, when I came up here with the BMW, I was like, yeah, I made it. I don't want to do that again. This is gonna make it, and I'm gonna want to do this again. That's the good part about being easy. Oh, that was a bit of scraping, but it pulled through. It scraped a little, but it's okay. This is the peak. This is the actual peak. We've reached the peak amazingly fast, and we're gonna take a breather and check out the scooter. Top of the mountain, serenity, peacefulness, and power lines. But let's look at this little beast, because it's all mud up like it should be, but everything seems to be well and truly in its place. Sure, it's caked in mud a little bit, but underneath everything seems fine. The engine is nice and protected up there by the center stand and the exhaust. The fuel filter looks decent. Yeah, not a problem. I'm pretty sure this machine is capable of a lot more. And these tires, while they're not me professional off-road tires, but they are gripping. They are gripping really, really well. So yeah, I'm gonna take a bit of a breather here on top of the mountain, and then we are gonna head down the mountain. We still have about 20 kilometers until we hit tarmac, and we'll see how it handles downhill. Alright, break is over. Let's see if we can make it downhill. We made it uphill. Now let's see how it handles the downhill. Because downhill is completely different than uphill. Usually going uphill is a little bit easier. And oh, I need the dash. I need to turn off traction. No, you know what? We're going downhill. We're gonna leave traction control on. I don't need to turn off traction control downhill. At least I don't think so. Now the car that was coming up did tell me that it's a little bit rough. The next bit, I think, right here in the mud. And then they said it's pretty much a-okay. And considering they were in a car, I don't think what's waiting for them on the downhill, the stuff we just came up. Yeah, we're just gonna take it really easy through the mud. It's not slipping, that's for sure. The scooter isn't slipping, and now we're gonna switch to this side, and it gripped beautifully. Yep, Kenda, you made a decent set of tires. What can I say? A decent set of tires. I don't know how my Michelins would handle this. I did put them through a lot and they handled alright. But also these Kendas off-roading, at least, they are very, very good. At least for this vehicle. I don't know if you could put them on a dirt bike. And oh, let's choose our line carefully here. And I want to be up here. I don't want to be in that rut. Slowly down the hill. Also, I do not want to be so far on the edge. I don't want to drop this thing down there. No, I think I'm panicking a lot more than I should be, because it's not my vehicle, and let's just say this was not agreed. I was just supposed to ride it to the event and ride it back, and this was not agreed. So in case you hear I no longer work at SYM Romania, this is why. But if you want me to keep working at SYM Romania, for my fellow Romanians watching the channel, please do buy one of these. That way I can motivate, I can give a reason to my bosses as to why I did such a dumb thing and why I took the only ADX in the country up here. And to my bosses, if they're watching this, I don't know, sorry? I don't know. You knew damn well when you gave me this vehicle that what I'm about to do with it. I think they would actually be surprised if I didn't do this. Although we didn't agree on it, I'm pretty sure they know for a fact that I'm gonna do this. They know this road exists here. They've seen my videos with the BMW. And I think they would actually be quite disappointed if I didn't do this. They might still fire me, but they would probably be disappointed. I haven't checked job listings to see if my position at SYM Romania is up for grabs on job listing websites, but it probably is. If I would have come back tomorrow on Monday with the scooter perfectly intact, telling them I didn't take it off-road, they would be like, oh damn, now we have to take the job listing off. We were about to fire you because we knew you were gonna take it off-road and do some dumb shit with it. Well, you needn't be disappointed. Here I am doing dumb shit with it. It's quite easy and controllable downhill because of the wide handlebars. Yeah, I'm gonna say it for a fact. This is easier to off-road than my ST is. This would go further and easier. And knuckleheads like me looking at this and thinking of buying it for themselves, well, it's handling it, and I would pull the trigger. Currently, I am actually thinking of pulling the trigger. It's just I don't know what to do with Donnie. I don't want to sell Donnie. I have I have gotten emotionally attached to that vehicle, and also the BMW is a bit close to heart. So I don't know. I'm still debating. We're probably gonna slip on it for a couple of months and see what I decide. But I don't think anybody's gonna be quite surprised if an ADX pops up in my garage. Now I'm saying that if I buy one of these, I'm gonna have to sell something, because honestly, I don't know what I would do with 3 bikes. I can barely ride 2 bikes, considering I also take press bikes out. What the hell am I gonna do with 3 bikes? I need someone to share them with. That's a thought. And I think you can see how easy this actually is, considering I'm blabbing on constantly instead of concentrating. It's actually stupendously easy. Well, come on. Incredibly. Yep, easy down the hill. Switch sides. No slipping on the rocks. Nothing. It's amazing. These candles actually do the job really nicely. And also, the jacket I'm wearing, the Alpine Stars Halo, although it's close to 30 degrees outside, it's keeping me cool. As long as we're in motion, the slightest bit of motion, it's keeping me nice and cool. And I think we are off the mountain. Yes, we are off the mountain. And now all we have is flat road. Dirt flat road, but flat road. So thankfully we are done with the hardest part. And here's another chimney. Another little vehicle trying to make it up the hill. They're probably wondering what the hell I'm doing here with a scooter. They're probably saying, oh, if that made it through, my little 4-wheel drive chimney for sure is gonna make it through. Well, you might be surprised, boys. You might actually be very, very surprised at how capable this little machine is. You know, people always, I don't know, look at scooters as just some kind of getting around the city toy and incapable of doing anything else than going to the grocery shop and taking you to work and back. Well, I'm sorry. We are currently doing 50 kilometers an hour on a bit of a dirt road. It's slipping a little bit. Oh, muddy. Let's slow it right down. Nice. I don't know why exactly I'm slowing down, because it's not like it's not already dirty. I mean, if I wanted, I could just go wow, wow. It doesn't care. It's pushing on. I left the traction control on. Everything is just dandy. It's surprisingly capable. It's very, very surprisingly capable at touring, at being comfortable, at doing stuff like this, even if with its, I don't know, 11 centimeter ground clearance, I think it is, maybe 11 or 12 centimeter ground clearance, or 120 mil, or I think it's even a little bit less than 120 mil, but still, it's not a lot of ground clearance, and it has 13-inch wheels, and yet we're doing this going 30-40 kilometers an hour on a gravel road, and it doesn't feel like I'm hurting it. That's the important thing. Anything can go fast down a gravel road if you don't give a shit. But I am giving a shit, and I am keeping it well in its capabilities. It's not feeling like I'm hurting the vehicle. It's more than capable. I mean, the ride is smooth. This should translate in a very smooth ride in the city. I have ridden it very little in the city, and it is actually pretty smooth, and Bucharest is full of potholes. But yeah, the suspension works. The nice part is, like I said, if you can only afford, if let's say you are really strapped for cash, I mean, you're not doing well. At 4,000 euros, you could make, I don't know, take out a loan, buy one of these, and the thing is, yeah, like I've said, you're not doing well, so why am I suggesting you get a loan? Because this thing helps you. It's very cheap to maintain, it's very cheap to run, it sips fuel, you can use it every day to go to work, which might actually be cheaper than taking the bus every day. And then on the weekends, you can come here and do stuff like this. And you know why it's important to do stuff like this? So you keep your mind sane. So you maintain your happiness. And if you are happy with your life, then your performance at work will be better. Your performance will be better. Maybe you'll get a raise, maybe you'll get a promotion, and then you'll start making more and more money. This could help you. This could better your life if you are in a really difficult situation, because it puts your mind right. First of all, it gives you cheap transportation and independence. It's very important to have that feeling of independence. Like, if I want to go somewhere, I have a vehicle that will take me there and I can afford to go there. That's the most important thing. If you have a car that drinks 15 liters per 100 kilometers and you want to travel 300 kilometers, you may not have the money for 45 liters of fuel, and thus you're not going to take that trip, and you're going to stay at home and be reminded of how poor you are. But you have something like this, 300 kilometers, that's like, I don't know, 9 liters of fuel. If you can afford 9 liters of fuel, you're gonna go on that trip and you're gonna feel better. You're gonna be happy about yourself. You're gonna be happy about your life. And thus you're gonna go into work on Monday with a smile on your face. Your boss is seeing you with a smile on your face. Might start thinking, yo, that's a good man or a good woman. You know, there's a promotion coming up. He or she might just fit the bill. That's what I'm saying. Do not get limited by the fact that I don't have something small like this, people telling you don't take it on any trips, you're not gonna make it, it's gonna break down. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is not going to break down, and you are going to make it. I mean, look at me, where I'm putting it. And also check my videos on my channel, what I did with my Symphony ST. Bloody hell, I took it on a 6,000 kilometer road trip to Armenia and Georgia. I crossed the entire state of Turkey twice. Once in one direction, again back. I did an iron butt on it. 1,700 kilometers in 24 hours. All of this is on my channel. I loaded up the highest road in Romania at 2,500 meters of stuff like this, off-road like this. You can do it. You can have the experience. Just have to be a little bit crazy. But now with this ADX, you don't have to be just as crazy, because the thing is more than capable of doing stuff like this. You can actually start taking liberties with it. I am exploring the grip of the tires, and there's grip. There is plenty of grip. Just look where we are. Look how beautiful it is. This is how I'm spending my Sunday. And remember, I put 15 liters or 13 liters actually of fuel in this thing when I left Bucharest. That was 273 kilometers ago, and we still have half a tank. So 13 liters of fuel, 273 kilometers, and we still have half a tank. What more could you ask for? The day is going to end with a total of close to 500 kilometers, and that'll be just one 15-liter fuel tank and 2 days of absolute joy and fun with just 15 liters of fuel. Yeah, really gets me thinking as to why I insisted, after having the Transalp, why did I insist to buy the GS? It's a nice bike, it's a great bike, but it's not that cheap to maintain. Granted, it hasn't gone wrong, it hasn't gone properly wrong, but when it's gonna go wrong, and it is gonna go wrong because it's a 27-year-old motorcycle, for sure it's going to go wrong. When it's gonna go wrong, it's gonna be bloody expensive. This thing, you can rebuild the engine with about 300 or 400 euros, and I mean properly rebuild the engine. And the engines, they're not that weak. I have seen a JetX with the 125cc liquid cooled motor at over 100,000 kilometers. That's right, 100,000 kilometers. The guy does deliveries, and he did this mileage in 3 years. 3 years, 100,000 kilometers. That's like 3 times around the world. That scooter went around the world once a year. And it's not like he hit 100,000 and the engine blew up. Currently he has about 105,000 kilometers on the clock, and it's still going. Yeah, it's drinking a little bit of oil, probably through, I'm thinking through the valve stem seals, because the rings are probably good, because the engine still has great compression and pulls strong. So I'm thinking it's valve stem seals letting oil into the combustion chamber, which is valve stem seals for his engine. It's like €5 a piece, and I think there are 4, because I think it's a 4-valve engine, or maybe it's a 3-valve engine. I think it has the Euro 4 model. That one should be a 3-valve engine. Anyway, it's like 15 or 20 euros for valve stems, and the labor for that is, I don't know, 50, 100 euros. 100,000 kilometers on an engine, and it basically needs less than 200 euros worth of work to get it completely right. That's nothing. Hell, when the brake cylinder, my front brake cylinder on my BMW, the seals went and it was leaking brake fuel, it was leaking brake fluid, that cost 100 euros just parts. When I say parts, I mean an O-ring. 100 euros for an O-ring. It's, yeah, bikes are expensive. Bikes can be very, very bloody expensive. If you want the specialized, the top of the line, the stuff like that, manufacturers will charge you. If you buy the most expensive bike, be ready for the most expensive parts. They will charge you, they don't care. But if you buy something like this, 4,000 euros, or in some countries even less, and you start doing stuff like this, you've cracked the code, my friend. You've cracked the code. Cheap and cheerful fun. You know what I just realized and noticed, and haven't noticed in 30 kilometers of off-roading? The thing isn't rattling at all. I mean, look at it down this gravel road full of rocks, and it's shaking around and it's bouncing around. But just listen to it. It's not rattling at all. Compared to my ST rattles like hell through a road like this. Stuff doesn't fall off it, but it rattles, and yet this thing does not rattle at all. Good machine. And that's it. After 35 kilometers of off-roading, we are back on tarmac, and now we can put the hammer down, close the visor. That was actually not bad. 35 kilometers of off-roading in 2 hours, considering I also took some breaks to stop and film. Good pace. Good pace for a little scooter. Well, now we have an interesting bit of mountain road up ahead, and I want to get there quickly. And if you think the video was over, oh no it isn't, because we're about to enter a stupendously beautiful road right on the Duftana Valley. We've been here before, I filmed here before, but it's still
stupendously beautiful every time I come here. The road just winds its way along the lake, the accumulation lake from the dam, because there's a dam up ahead. And then we're gonna drop on a road on the side of the dam. It switchbacks and goes to the bottom of the dam and then keeps on going. But until that point, we have this bit of road which is absolutely stupendous. And well, here we see a bit of let's say the not so good side of the ADX, because 125cc and 12 horsepower, if we're going downhill we're having fun, if we're going uphill we're still having fun, but it's lacking a bit of power. It's a heavy scooter. It's currently packed with all my luggage, so I think that's about 15 kilograms of luggage. I'm also on it, 110 kilograms, and it's working. It's getting up the hills no problem, but the little engine is working. Like I've said, I think the 150cc version that's sold in Asia with the 15 horsepower engine as opposed to this 12 horsepower engine would be a little bit better. And now here we see the problem of having just 12 horsepower and the engine struggling a little bit. I don't have the acceleration to get past this car quickly and smoothly. I kind of have to do it a bit of a kamikaze way. Like when he brakes for a corner, I have to just jump, pass, and then hard on the brakes and take the corner, because you do want open bit of road, because this thing handles, and it's quite fun to chuck around in the bends as I'm currently doing. Like I said, the Kendas, I don't know how they are on wet tarmac, but on dry tarmac they're doing alright. They're not vibrating, they're confidence inspiring. I'm leaning on the side of the tire, no problem. And the chassis can take the power, the chassis can take the weight. And here I think everybody stops to look at something, and it's extremely narrow. Ah, boy. Yeah, Romania is beautiful, but some parts are pretty meh. Like this little bit here. I don't know. Oh, people are stopping to look at the lake and going down there to do barbecues and leaving their cars on the road, because why not? And stopping in the middle of the road, because again, why not? And now, how am I supposed to get past 3 cars so I can enjoy the road? And people here don't seem to notice when you're behind them and you want to pass them, so they can just get out of the way a little bit and let you go and everybody's happy. No, I just have to find a way. This bridge is absolutely beautiful, and over there we have the dam. People taking shots. I mean photographs, not shots. I wouldn't say anyone is getting drunk here. Some probably are, but I just wouldn't say it. I stopped here once to eat. It's absolutely gorgeous to eat here. Well, the cars have picked up the pace, which is very good for me. That, or we're going uphill and they are faster than me, because we are going uphill. But yeah, it's doing it. The problem is I would have liked a little bit more power for overtakes. Like here in this situation, there are spots where I could overtake if only I had a little bit more power. But otherwise, even this 12 horsepower 125cc engine is cutting the mustard. I have been on the road for 300 kilometers and this is the second day, and apart from overtaking, it's cutting the mustard. It's doing its job, it's going the distance. Would have I liked a little bit more power? Yeah, sure, but you always want a little bit more power, don't you? Sometimes you just have to limit yourself a little bit so you can enjoy the road and the switchbacks. And there's the dam. We're gonna go to the bottom of the dam. What a beauty. Downhill is absolutely tremendously powerful. It's powerful enough going downhill. Problem is when we're going uphill. And one of the problem is going downhill is that my luggage is pushing me. It's not what I would say perfectly packed, but considering it doesn't have a top case and it has a pretty small passenger seat, I was able to get everything for a night's sleep: tent, sleeping bag, clothes, chair, everything on the back of it, and it's hanging on there. I wouldn't say they're perfectly tied down, but they're hanging on there. It's quite impressive. And there's the dam. Damn, boy, that's a big dam. That's a pretty big dam. Yes, I am thoroughly enjoying my time with the ADX. In case you were wondering, I am properly enjoying my time with the ADX 125. It's a good machine. It's a very, very, very good machine. SYM have hit it out of the ballpark. And that's about it. We're getting off the mountain. We're getting close to getting back into the plains. And a bit of a more boring drive, I would say, or ride. It's still gonna be pretty nice. I have my route set through a couple of forests and stuff like that. But the most spectacular part is starting to be behind us. As you can see, the hills are now quite a bit lower. We are coming off the mountains. But it was a good 2 days. And the ADX showed what it's made of. And it's made out of good stuff. Well, the adventure's officially over. We're going back on the highway for another highway blast home, about 60 kilometers of highway. And I'm gonna go to the same fuel station where I fueled up in my sneak peek video. I'm gonna try to stop at the same fuel pump because I want to see the fuel consumption, because this is getting close. This might actually be the longest I have gone with any two-wheeled vehicle on one single tank of fuel. We are currently at 380 kilometers covered, and we still have 2 out of 7 bars, if you can see there. So 381 kilometers, 2 bars. With 2 bars, I think it's safe to say I have another 100 kilometers in the tank before it actually clunks out. At least another 100. I'm expecting 2 bars to be about 4 liters, or maybe even more. So that should be actually close to 200 kilometers. We don't know. That's why I want to do the math, because I want to see what's the fuel consumption on this thing. And from the cool embrace of the mountains back to the bustling, hot traffic of Bucharest, where the little ADX starts being again a little 125cc scooter that's absolutely wonderful through city traffic, just like all 125cc's are, because they're small, they're light, they're easy to maneuver between cars. Now I do have a chair on the back of the scooter. I have to be careful with the width, but otherwise it's going great. We still have 2 bars of fuel left on the dash, and we've covered 450 kilometers. So 450 kilometers and we still don't have a fuel light on. It's gonna be interesting. We're gonna do the math. We're almost at the petrol station and we're gonna do the math and see exactly how much fuel
this thing used up and what's a theoretical range. Come on, little ADX. Oh, 454 kilometers. We got a fuel light on. We got a fuel light on at 454 kilometers, which is absolutely perfect because we're about to reach the fuel station in about 500 meters, so we can estimate how much fuel is left in the tank when the fuel light comes on. So we can actually do a proper range estimate of this vehicle and a proper fuel light, how much reserve you have, how far can you go on reserve. That's absolutely awesome, but still 455 kilometers before the fuel light turns on. It will easily do 500 kilometers on a tank, easily. And also the start-stop feature is actually kind of nice in the city. It's so wacky when the engine decides to shut off by itself. You know, it takes a little bit to start up, but once you get used to it, you kind of like give it a bit of throttle before you know the light is going to turn green. But enough blabbering. And yes, the same fuel pump is empty and we can use it. This is the fuel pump I last filled it at, and now we are going to fill it up again. Let me just put this somewhere like here. Okay, put it on the center stand. Okay, well, now let's start pumping fuel. It's going in, it's going in, it's going in. It's actually quite easy to fill this thing up to the brim. I really like it, how easy it is to fill up. It's a big tank, but you can quickly get a lot of fuel in it. Well, that's brimmed, and we have 12.58 liters. Okay, let's close this and let's do the math. Shut. So when the fuel light comes on, you still have 2.5 liters, and calculator. So we have 12.58 liters divided by 455. No, it's actually 4.555. 2.76 liters per 100 kilometers. That's the fuel consumption per 100 kilometers. That means we still had another 2.5 liters in the tank, which should have given us about 80 kilometers of range, and that's 530. So let's divide this. So we'll say 2.76. So 15 liters divided by 2.76, 543 kilometers you can do on a tank. Over 500 kilometers on a tank. That's absolutely awesome. Let me pay the fuel and then we'll discuss it a little bit. So in conclusion, the ADX 125 from SYM, is it a smash hit? Have they achieved everything they wanted to achieve? Well, apart from the fact that it's lacking a little bit of power, but in some markets you have the 150 variant which should fix it, then yes, they have. It's a very comfortable scooter. It's good for long distance riding because you have certain things that make it good for long distance riding. And yeah, it's I'm trying to think of things I don't like it, and the only thing I don't like is I would have liked just a little bit more power. You can feel that the scooter is kind of heavy for the engine it has, but that's about it. That's kind of the only niggle I have with it.
Otherwise, the suspension is nice and good, the brakes are very good, the comfort is very good, the underseat storage is decently sized, the fuel tank is tremendous, the handlebars are nice and wide, the mirrors are okay. You can actually, I think I can adjust them a little bit more. You can see well enough behind you. They're not as good as the Cruise Sims one, which are a bit far forward and can see a lot more in them, but for handlebar mounted mirrors, they are good. LED lights, lighting is very good. I tried it last night in the camping area. I turned it on a little bit and we looked at the lights, me and a couple of guys over there, and it lights up very, very well up ahead. It looks good. It can handle long distance road tripping. It can handle off-road. It has decent tires from the factory. It has traction control. It has start-stop. It has ABS. And it's only 4 grand. 4,000. It's hard to think of anything that's so much value for money and yet does so much as a machine. I mean, plus the fact that it's the top of the range 125 in Sim's lineup, it doesn't rattle. I rode it on that mountain road that was very rocky and gravelly. Nothing rattled. I mean, everything here is extremely solid. Nothing, even the door to the glove box does not rattle. Look, bumps, no rattles, no nothing. So add to the list, extremely well built. Reliability, I've already tested a lot of Sims. If you service them well, engines will last over 100,000 kilometers. Even these small ones, these 125s, they will last over 100,000 kilometers. Just service them well and service them as the service manual says. Don't skip changing a belt, don't skip changing your oil. Do it right and it will last. Otherwise, I don't have anything else to say. If they would make like a 200 or a 250cc version, I would be absolutely in love. I am already in love as it is. Oh yeah, the dashboard is nice and colorful, and I really like the display, and it's very easy to see and make everything out. I don't know what I could say bad about it. So yeah, you guys make up your mind. I think you've all already made up your mind after watching the videos, and at least this one. It's probably gonna be a long video, but thank you all for sticking around to the end. It was a nice adventure and a pleasant surprise that this thing isn't just all show and no go. It actually has the go. Point it up a mountain and it will get up it. Somehow it finds a way to climb, like a little mountain goat. But yeah, thank you all so very much for watching, for liking the videos, for enjoying my content. If you haven't seen the review, the proper review of this vehicle, then check out my channel, or I'll link it somewhere up here, for the proper full review of the SYM ADX, where we go with the camera around the scooter from front wheel to back wheel and go through every single bit of it, and then we ride it and I tell you a little bit about it. And thank you to my members for supporting me, and hope you guys enjoyed the early access to the videos. And until next time guys, take care out there and ride safe. Goodbye.